Started with a pick and pop. We see Thomas Bryant as the center here, and they're not really looking to score on this pop, they're just looking to get it to Bryant. Here though, there's some miscommunication on the play as the ball goes to Satoransky, so this slows the pace of the play, but they still continue it. We see Satoransky is now the one executing the dribble handoff instead of setting that screen, but Bryant still does a nice job of slipping his screen instead of setting this screen, and this allows Beal to get downhill and score. The next time they run this play, it's much more crisp and they get right into the handoff, and we see Gortat this time, instead of letting Beal get the layup, he's in a tough spot so he steps up, but that gives up the dish to Bryant. Let's watch this play again because I want to point out how another aspect of this play that makes it so tough to stop is that it's hard to late switch against. So some defenses in the pick and roll, when Bradley finds himself trailing Beal, he would late switch onto Bryant and Gortat would take Beal. But because of this handoff concept, we see how much further ahead Bryant is to Bradley, so if an alley-oop was thrown and they late switched, Bradley would not be able to contest the alley-oop. The Clippers don't try the late switch here anyways, but it's another reason why I like this set. Third time they're running this set, and this time with Harrell in, he comes up higher to stop Beal from getting into the paint. The problem is, now Bryant is able to get behind Harrell, there's no help, and Bryant gets fouled. The next play, Bradley decides to take matters into his own hands. He denies Beal, top blocking him, forcing him away from the screen. The problem is, this can give up the backdoor cut, and the Wizards get another easy basket. Now it's the fourth quarter, the Wizards get into the set, and now with Beverly guarding Beal, he decides not to deny the screen. Again, Harrell comes high to contain Beal, but this time we see Scott does a good job of dropping low to take away the roll man Morris, but that does momentarily leave Rivers open for 3. Beal doesn't see the pass though, instead he swings it to Satoransky, who swings it to Green, and now momentarily the Clippers have contained this play for the first time. Sure, they had to switch a bit and you have Harrell guarding Beal, but for the first time there is no distinct advantage. Unfortunately, there's a problem, and that is that Boban is in the game. This is a basic closeout even for most centers, but he is so slow, he gets completely blown by Green, and it's a dunk. The first part of this clip was cut out, but we see what's happening. They're running the set, Morris is popping, and again, they're really not trying to score on this, but this time Boban is guarding Morris. And he's such a defensive catastrophe, he gets sucked into the pop when he should have stayed closer to Morris. He of course can't recover quick enough, and Morris gets an open 3, he just can't knock it down. Now let's talk about what the Clippers could have done different. And one thing they could have done is look to be more aggressive, helping in the gap, stunting at the ball from Gilgeous-Alexander's position. So if he looked to stunt at the ball and take away Beal's drive, that would have only left Wall open for 3, and since Wall is a mediocre shooter, this is a decent risk reward. Ignoring this odd Nick Nurse position, the Wizards ran a similar set versus the Raptors, and what they did to defend this play was switch that first screen. Now they of course have great personnel for this, but Anunoby jumps out to Beal, and this makes sure there's no advantage for Beal before he even gets the handoff. This forces Morris to set the screen, so that screws up the play a bit, and the Wizards only score because Beal hits a very tough shot. To me, this is a sustainable way of defending this action. Most teams are at least a bit switchable 1 through 4.